Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. Today we're discussing the Breguet Marine reference 5817 ST in stainless steel. While listed at 39mm by Breguet, my calipers in person, in the flesh, in the metal measure 40. You can see and you can purchase this measured 40mm Breguet sports watch on our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos, and please click on the card in the upper right hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full sales listing for this watch with additional accessories included in the sale, high-resolution images for your desktop, and naturally complete pricing details for this Breguet Marine in stainless steel. Now, you get a good look at the watch on my wrist. I insist on measuring watches and always giving you the true measurement of the watch because, quite frankly, I sometimes wonder if the marketing department doesn't just cut and paste the wrong information on occasion. A 40mm watch, and we may not get too many more opportunities to spot check because as of 2018, a new Breguet Marine family, including a new basic automatic model, have debuted, and to say the least, not all are convinced. While they're technically competent and nicely made, the charisma of the original 2004 model 5817 is already missed, and I have to say that it had one heck of a run. A worthy successor to the legacy of Daniel Roth and Louis-Marie Caillet at Breguet, the watchmakers who helped to build up the company during the 70s and the 80s to take the ruins of the old Breguet company and rebuild it such that Swatch ultimately purchased. This is a watch that in the modern era represents an opulent take on sports watches. So you can see the watch 40mm round across the 3 to 9 o'clock dimension, not including crown or crown guard. It's reasonably slim, though not ultra thin by any means. 12.1mm. This is about thickness of a Rolex sub, which is 12.6mm. So this one's going to effectively wear as thin as a sub. Anything you can wear with a sub, you can wear with this. Lug to lug, it has a dimension that's, again, very similar to a modern supercase Rolex with solid end link bracelet. 50.1mm, easy to wear on my 16cm circumference wrist. It has a satisfying heft that you don't often find on the conventional strap-borne models of this watch, because this particular example features a Breguet bracelet. Rarely seen, but a wonderful surprise. It features an end that is fixed with screws, so like a Royal Oak Offshore or Royal Oak, we're fixing an expensive and heavy sports watch to its bracelet with screws, not spring bars. And then it features a multiply articulated bracelet, which to say all the joinery is down the center. So because everything's joined down the center in that slightly stagger-stepped series of intermediate links, the edges can float and torque a little bit, so there's a little bit of a side-to-side souplesse with this bracelet. I would not be shocked if it turns out to have articulated screws or pins in the center. It is very fluid. It has a wonderfully supple feel, almost like a silk strap, and you're getting that with the versatility and longevity of steel. You'll also note that it's handsomely contrast finished, polished down the center with polished flanks and a few polished accents on the outer edge. It's also satin finished, and you can see the beautiful gradient reflectivity of the satin finished surfaces. Because they're rounded, they have that lovely bright to dark gradient when you hold them up into the light. The clasp is simple. You can see single fold deployant and arced to trace the curve of the underside of the wrist. The Marine has always been a little bit more genteel than its colleagues in the ultra haute de gamme sports watch segment, so this one is friction fit rather than held by a clamshell or push buttons. Would I prefer push buttons and a trigger? Yes, but the closure mechanism as it's here is nicely made and everything is immaculately finished. Exactly what you'd expect of Breguet. Now, going back to the case, it is just characteristically Breguet coined flanks, double drawn bezel, large, straight, welded style lugs. It's strong in its geometries without stepping over the line into the realm of style typically associated with the Ulysse Nardin Marine family. It can be difficult to have large lug sports watch families so similarly named, produced within the same industry and competing in the same segments, but Breguet manages to set itself apart with the coined case flank, which is cold rolled and then hand finished, and then dials that, at least up to the 2017 model Breguet Marine, were always highly distinctive of the brand, and you can see that here. The base itself is actually made of gold, so solid gold and then silvered. There is a beautiful undulating and spiral pattern rose lathe guilloché executed by hand by a guilloché artisan, and I can get a little bit closer and you can see that texturing, and you can see to good advantage when I turn slightly away from the light just how richly and deeply cut that center dial is. Now, the outer races for seconds and minutes outboard, and then the sunken register for hours are also nicely finished with a satin metallic grain. And you'll note that all of the stylized Roman numerals are heat blued and hand applied. They're not printed onto the dial. They do actually have height and they do have volume. The beautiful Breguet style hands for hours and minutes do contain a small amount of luminescence, and there will be a lume shot at the end of the video as outboard of each Roman numeral you can see there is a small luminova pip. It is a sports watch in every sense. Double digit date with a quick set functionality at 6 o'clock. The movement does not hack, but it does have a 65-hour power reserve via twin mainspring barrels and a quick set functionality for the date itself. Now we're going to take a look at that movement right now. It is based on a Frederic Piguet 1150, so twin mainspring barrels and an exceptional power reserve via those twin mainspring barrels of 65 hours. It features a beat rate of 28,800 vibrations per hour, so it is a modern high-beat movement. The rotor itself is immaculately finished with a spectacular spiral guilloché that matches the dial itself, and the rotor too is executed on a rose lathe. Finish of the bridges is very good. Over the years, the finish on the 5817 has improved slowly over time to the point that it matches some of the best in the industry. Originally something of a utilitarian reference within the Breguet catalog, it has grown in stature and importance as one of the top sellers for the brand, gradually becoming a flagship product that has warranted the level of finish you see here. Richly textured linear Côte de Genève across the bridges, perfectly aligned, beautiful mirrored anglage on the edge of the bridges, black polished screw heads. It's executed in impressive fashion. You will not get this on a Rolex Submariner. So if you want something that's a little bit off the beaten path, still with a screw down crown, still with 100-meter water resistance, you certainly need to give the outgoing Breguet Marine 5817 a try. Now, it's not quite gone yet, as of today, Breguet is still claiming on its website that this watch is 39 millimeters, and you and I both know it's not, it's 40. But who knows how much longer it'll be around, as even Breguet draws the curtain on this chapter, closes down its representation and its press materials for the 5817. There's already a little bit of a groundswell back to the older watch rather than the 2018 model, and this watch going forward is going to be remembered as one of the great Breguet sports watches of all time, right up alongside the Type 22s. You can see and make this one yours on our website.